All right, we have more on this horrible disaster from Tony, who was in Washington. Tony, just outside Washington.
Adriana, thank you very much. I'm here with Billy Nolen. He's the former acting FAA administrator during the Biden administration. He's also the chief regulatory affairs officer at Archer Aviation, which is developing electric aircraft. And more than that, Billy, thank you very much for being here. You started as an Army helicopter pilot.
I did.
You've also been a commercial air pilot, and you were an executive in the airlines industry. So you've seen this from all sides.
Absolutely.
One thing that leaps out is you had one air traffic control person doing the job of 2 seats and then 2 doing the job of 4. That sounds bad for people out there. What do you make of it?
It's not as bad as it sounds. You look at the time, you have to look at what is the tempo of the operation and is there the ability. So imagine you've got multiple in the daytime, you've got controllers who are managing multiple flights. You may have one in trail of the other, another person on downwind. So this happened to be a position where another controller may have handled low altitude, in this case, the helicopter traffic. So certainly that will be something in the course of the investigation for the NTSB to take a look at and look to see whether or not that contributed in any way. I do want to stress that this is a night VFR, visual flight rules. Both pilots were supposed to have had each other in sight. The American Eagle 5342 was cleared to land on runway 33. The Black Hawk crew was asked if they had the preceding traffic in sight. They acknowledged that they had. They were expected and told to maintain visual separation. So those are the things you expect to happen, right? We don't expect accidents to happen. In fact, this is the first time in nearly 16 years here in the United States that we've had a commercial passenger fatal accident.
We keep hearing today that helicopters over the Potomac are supposed to be around 200 feet, maybe yes. 250. This one was at 300 or 350. Yeah. Why was it so high? Why didn't air traffic control say, hey, you got to get lower?
Well, this is happening, again, this is happening in real time. Yeah. So I can't answer the question as to why they had climbed above the maximum altitude, which would have been 200 feet, right? Yeah. So this is certainly something for both the NTSB and the military to look into as to what happened there. I can tell you, I'm a helicopter pilot. I've flown in and around congested areas. I was an airline captain, right? These two can safely coexist. They do so all over the world. What we want to understand is what happened in this particular case and how do we keep it from happening again.
We've talked about the number of air traffic controllers. The union president said they don't have enough people. Let's get into the quality question. Who's working for the airlines? Who's working for the Army? Who's working for the air traffic controllers? You heard President Trump yesterday suggest that the quality at all of these outfits has fallen in an effort to lift up diversity. When you hear that, you think what?
Well, I can tell you that I have been a pilot for 44 years. I have flown every part of this aviation ecosystem, and now involved with the newest forms of aviation, eVTOLs that are coming to market. Very safe, more redundancy, et cetera. So when I look out there and I look at the workforce of yesterday, today, and what we expect tomorrow, I see nothing but excellence. I've been overseen by air traffic controllers all over the world, and I've yet to find one myself that was anything but a professional. And I think the same goes. You look at the airlines themselves have very rigorous testing standards for their pilots, for their flight attendants, for their mechanics, for their executive staff. So that's what we live for, and which is one of the reasons I go back to this, and I really want to drive this point home. We have been at 16 years without a fatal accident because this is a very much a layered approach to aviation safety. There are many layers here, and so all of those are designed so that if you slip through one, there's another one that sort of captures it, right, to prevent it from making a fatal error that we saw. Yeah. So as you reported earlier, this gives us pause. It gives us an opportunity to go back and sort of hit the reset button and say, well, okay, what did we miss here? During my time as FAA administrator, when I sat in the chair, I did an administrator call to action. We brought the airlines together. We brought the industry together to say, we've had a series of close calls. What can we do to prevent that? So we had spent all of this time making fatal accidents, quote unquote, a thing of the past. We said, let's look into the future and let's make close calls a thing of the past as well. So that work is ongoing. Yeah. The FAA is continuing to do it. And as we think about the workforce there, everyone is focused and dedicated on delivering not only for aviation, but for the American people.
Billy, Nolen, you've been on every side of this issue in the air, and you say you've seen excellence at every level. Thank you very much for your time.